Sorare is a fantasy football game in which you can play and earn. With player cards available from around 245 clubs, you can bid and purchase the digital cards from the auction. You can then use those cards in different leagues and can even sell them for profit. Click on the link below, sign up, get common cards as a bonus, and if you decide to purchase limited cards, you'll get a free 6 limited card on 5 purchases. Check it out now. Hello and welcome back to the channel everyone. Hope you all are well and you're having a nice time. I am back with another video, and in this one I'll run you through my team selection for game week 17. We'll talk about each of the players that I've picked up. I'll tell you the reason why I've picked them up, and yeah, I'll run you through each and every player that I've picked up, so that would be helpful to you. Meanwhile, if you have not subscribed to the channel already, please do that and help me reach 700 subs sooner, as that would be of much help to me, and that would obviously be a big support from you guys to me. So yeah, there will obviously be loads and loads of fantasy content coming onto the channel. We covered the World Cup fantasy. What a great World Cup we witnessed. What a great and a fairy tale ending to that World Cup. But yeah, as soon as the Champions League starts, there would be Champions League fantasy content on the channel too. So please do subscribe and help me reach 700 subs as soon as possible. So now let's look at the team that I've picked up. I'll obviously start with the goalkeepers. First, as you can see, I've got Ward in goal, and the specific reason why I picked up Ward is that, you know, he's a cheap keeper and he has kept a couple of clean sheets before we went into the World Cup and the FPL went on for a pause. So the specific reason why I've gone for Ward is that when needed, I might just pull him in the playing 11 and he might return me, the 2-pointer. So a cheap keeper at 4 million who plays, and if I'm lucky, I might see a clean sheet too, like we've seen Ward keeping clean sheet. Obviously, we did not enjoy, most of the managers did not enjoy those points, but some managers got the reward when they played him. So yeah, that is the specific reason why I've gone for Ward. I think, yeah, he might keep some clean sheets in the upcoming games, but the 2-pointer is enough when needed, and I'll just pull him inside the playing 11 in case Guetta gets injured or he gets suspended or any unforeseen reason why he doesn't play. Now let's talk about Guetta. So the specific reason why I would continue with Guetta is that Guetta did not keep a lot of clean sheets, but the specific reason why I went for him was that he makes a lot of saves. When he makes lots of saves, the specific reason why I picked him up is that he gets extra points. When he makes saves, he gets extra points. Now a cheap keeper might get you 2 points, but in that particular situation where the opponent is attacking too much, Guetta might make 6 or 7 saves and he might get you a 3-pointer in that situation, and that is the reason why I picked him up. And Fulham obviously is a good attacking side, and I do expect Guetta to make a lot of saves in that game, as with the likes of Mitrovic and Andres Pereira and all the Paulina, whatever his name is. So yeah, sorry if I did not pronounce it right. But they've got all the likes of all these players, obviously Reed. So these are all the players that are good attacking options they have, and they might be lethal too. But obviously I do not expect Guetta to keep a clean sheet in this game, but I do expect him to return me those saving points, and that is the reason why I would want to continue with Guetta. Now let's look at the defenders. So the defenders are visible on your screen. Just noticed I forgot to change Trippier's fixture. He faces Leicester at away. So yeah, I just want to mention that Trippier faces Leicester at away. It doesn't play Chelsea at home. A little bit graphical error, but yeah, just to mention it again, he plays Leicester at away. Now starting from the defenders that are on the bench, I've got Ben White and Dalot on the bench. Starting with Dalot. Obviously, we saw with Portugal, he has the attacking capability. He did provide 2 assists and gave back the attacking returns to the owners in the World Cup fantasy for the ones who owned him. So yeah, that is the specific reason why Dalot could be a good option in the upcoming game weeks. We might see him go forward. Obviously, Ten Hag prefers him. He plays him in almost every game, and Dalot obviously might return some clean sheets too, as we've seen that Varane is playing a top level game, and similar is the case with Martinez. They both are on a different level. Martinez, obviously, he's playing pretty nice. He did not start the final. He wasn't in the final. He did not play any minute in the final, but obviously we saw him before that. He is a monster. He is a great centre back, and I think United would defensively obviously evolve, and they might keep clean sheets with the likes of Varane and Martinez standing in their back. and that is why that is one reason why I would prefer Dalot in one side, because we might enjoy those clean sheet points in the upcoming games. Now we look at Ben White, and in Ben White's case, I want to enjoy the clean sheets that Arsenal keeps in the upcoming game weeks. As we've seen, Arsenal has evolved, they've changed. Obviously, they look a little shaky defensively when they are being pressed or they are being heavily attacked, but still they manage to keep their defensive shape, and I think they would slowly evolve, and sometimes you might see clean sheets, but he's a cheap option. And when Arsenal has some good fixtures in longer run, we might enjoy a couple of clean sheets in those games, and that is a specific reason why I've gone for Ben White. Now looking at the three defenders that actually are on field, and we'll start with Cancelo. Now I've got a mixed feeling about Cancelo. He has not been very consistent. Obviously, if we look at Trent Alexander-Arnold from last season, he was pretty last season or the season before that, he was consistent with his attacking returns. Cancelo has not been consistent, and the other case is that when Trent, or obviously Cancelo from last season, was not returning me attacking points, at least he was giving me away some of those clean sheet points, but now those are obviously missing too. So I'm not pretty sure with Cancelo yet. I might just punt on Akanji and hope he plays. So I might just enjoy those clean sheet points if he keeps, and whatever the attacking returns, if he goes big in intervals, that might obviously I have to deal with that. But in the longer run, I am looking at those clean sheet points if they keep. Obviously, he eats up a lot of budget. He's 7.4 currently, and I wouldn't want my 7.4 being wasted like that on a player who is just giving me 1 or 2 points in 3 or 4 in next 3 or 4 matches. So I'm not pretty sure about Cancelo, but though that was the negative part. Now looking at the positive part, whenever he returns those attacking returns, he gets a 12 or 13 points in that game, and that is obviously a huge boost for the points. Cancelo obviously a majorly owned player, and he's got a good ownership, and that is one reason why most of the managers would go for him. And obviously Man City is expected to be a good defensive side, and they are expected to keep a lot of clean sheets in the upcoming games. Now looking at Trippier, who does not face Chelsea at home, he faces Leicester at away as far as I remember, but we'll check once again with Almiron. Obviously I would have changed Almiron's graphics. So yeah, Trippier was he was good with England too. It was pretty sad to see England get knocked out by France, but obviously Trippier was missing in that game, but he was obviously a really good player in the World Cup too, and he is an essential this season. He has the capability to provide attacking returns via free kicks. He is good with the crosses. He's defensively very good. Newcastle are keeping clean sheets, and that is one reason why Trippier is not one reason. Those are a couple of reasons why Trippier is so essential. Now Reece James, before I start on that topic, just a little bit summary on that. Reece James and me, we've never worked out, as in the fantasy terms. Whenever I've picked him up, he used to be in a good form. He would have been returning 6 or 7 pointers in 3 or 4 games. The moment I pick him up, he goes for a blank, for 1 pointer, for even a red card or an own goal in some games. But hopefully this time would be different. Things are changing. Messi won the World Cup, so yeah, things are changing every time Messi wins something big. What I've witnessed, there are big alterations in the timeline, so hopefully my and Reece James relationship would change in terms of the fantasy, obviously. He faces Bournemouth at home, and not attacking returns. Obviously he has the capability to provide those attacking returns. He has been a system player, a good player for Chelsea, the main player for Chelsea. He has he's obviously back from injury. He has been providing those key passes. He has been providing those those attacking returns that in the games that Chelsea really wanted. So yeah, that is why he has to be picked. You cannot look away from Reece James, judging by the potential he has. So hopefully he doesn't go, he doesn't disappoint me this time. That is all I want to say on this topic. Now let's look at the midfielders. Obviously I've got Andreas on the bench. 4 are on the pitch. Andreas, a cheap option. He's on the set pieces. We've already talked about him a lot, so I would continue with him. I wouldn't take him out. Almiron, obviously he faces Leicester away, similar to the case with Trippier that I already mentioned. So Almiron has been my dark horse. He has been the one that, the chosen one for me. From the moment I picked him up, he has been providing me those attacking returns. So I don't want to betray him. I wouldn't take him out unless he gets injured or he goes, pretty underperforming. But right now he has been performing well, and I would keep him against Leicester away. Obviously Leicester has evolved. They are looking like a better side defensively, but I still trust my Almiron, and I hope that he provides me those attacking returns that I really want in this game. Martinelli, a cheap option on set pieces, similar to the case of Andreas, but obviously Martinelli plays a little more forward alongside Jesus. So yeah, I would hold on to Martinelli for now. If he fails continuously, we might look at other options, but at this price range currently we do not have many options. Now Rashford and Bruno Fernandes, this might be surprising for most, as we see a Man United double up in the midfield. So as Ronaldo has now left, I think that Bruno might be their main man again. He was the main man before Ronaldo. Obviously after Ronaldo came, he became the main man, and Bruno was somehow underperforming in those games. We saw in the World Cup, in the games that Ronaldo, obviously he did not had a great World Cup, but Bruno had a nice World Cup. He looked amazing, he looked pretty good, and I think Bruno could be a big differential going into game week 17. Obviously he's got a good fixture, Nottingham Forest at home, and similar is the case with Rashford. He could be a good potential option. A short-term punt, we saw with England, he has evolved, he has been playing well, and now a fit Rashford looks like a real Rashford. He looks like a good Man United player. Obviously he still has to be a little more clinical with the chances he gets, but I personally think he would definitely be a big differential alongside Bruno. A lot of players would go for obviously Rashford or Bruno, so one of them has to be most owned player among the most owned players, and one would obviously has to be a big differential. So yeah, Bruno and Rashford, the current Man United double up, is in my side in the midfield. Now we look at the forwards. I haven't changed my forwards from the last time I had Mitrovic, Haaland and Nunez. Nunez did provide me those attacking returns in the previous game. He got 2 goals, and he faces Aston Villa at away now, and this one obviously is a good fixture again. Now we've got Haaland, who faces Leicester at away. We've got Mitrovic, who faces Crystal Palace at away. Now talking about Haaland, we've already seen the capability he has. We've already seen how good he is with the way he plays, the attacking returns he got, how clinical he is. So Haaland is obviously with the armband. As you can see, there's a small striker on him, so that is the captaincy armband. I placed that on him. I personally think he has been on a mission this season in Premier League, and I think he might end up with the golden boot for the Premier League too, as he is among the most assister and among the most goal scorer for now. Haaland is a machine, and I think he might end up with a lot more goals than we usually expect at the rate he is going for now. But that was obviously a joke stuff, obviously. But now looking at specifically, I'll talk about Mitrovic now. Mitrovic was, he looked good, in that international side he played, and in the World Cup, I think he got some good positions. Obviously, he's not very clinical, but he does gets those attacking returns. Now the criteria for him not being clinical is, I would compare him to someone like Wilson, who is a lot more clinical with if we compare him to Mitrovic. But if you've got the budget, I was actually looking at Wilson too. So if you've got the budget, you definitely go for Wilson, who I think is a better option. But Mitrovic specifically has that double game week coming up after game week 19. I guess it's game week 19 in which he gets those double games. So I personally think for that specific reason, I would say Mitrovic. But if you want to go for a more clinical guy, I think Wilson costs around 7.4 million. So I think if you want to go for a more clinical guy, I would definitely suggest Wilson, who looked good for England too for the only game he played. And I've already talked about Haaland. Nunez, obviously, he didn't had a great World Cup. He did not. He looked awful, to be very honest, and to be very specific, he looked awful in that Uruguay side. But hopefully, we would see a pretty different Nunez. Obviously, now Jota is missing. Luis Diaz is injured, so they do not have many options. Nunez might be on the wings, Firmino up ahead, and Salah on the other wing. So we might still see Nunez being among those attacking returns as he was in intervals, and he also got 2 goals in the previous game he played. So this is currently how my side is looking like. Obviously a 3-4-3. You can see I've still got 4.5 million in the bank. My current points are 963. I'm on 50k overall and 67th in the country. So obviously this is currently where I'm standing at in terms of the points and in terms of the bank. This would be my initial draft or initial lineup. Obviously whatever the final lineup, I would definitely share to you with that. I'm hoping I might get some time to pull out a small short video, and I would definitely upload a YouTube short discussing my final team. That is currently what my plan is. Now let me know what are your plans for game week 17 down below. Let me know about that, and whatever your plans are, whatever differences you're looking at, just let me know below. And if you've got suggestions for me, do let me know that too. So this currently is it from my side. I'll be back pretty soon with game week 18 team selection video. If you want to see some differential content on my channel too, so let me know about that too. You can reach me out via DMs on Twitter at @FPLZ, or you can just talk to me in the comments below. I reach each and every comment, and I would reply to each and every one of you. So yeah, thank you all for watching.